Confess Fletch. It's been what, 35 plus years or 30 something years since the last Fletch movie, and I think Kevin Smith was supposed to do it maybe 1 year, or he had it in development with maybe Jason Lee and Jason Sudeikis one time. But now finally, Confess Fletch. It's a reality. It hits theaters on digital and on demand on Friday via Paramount. It's not Chevy Chase or Chase whatever as Fletch. It is Jon Hamm from Mad Men as Fletch, and there's some kind of situation where it starts with he's somewhere, I guess, in Italy, or there's some art heist situation. No, there's some stolen paintings. There's a count or very rich man from Italy who's kidnapped, and Fletch has something to do with his daughter. There's a countess played by Marcia Gay Harden. So it starts off in Italy, then it goes down to Boston, and when Fletch arrives at this apartment he's, I guess, leasing or renting or whatever, he finds a dead body at this leased apartment, and right now he is a prime suspect number one in the murder of the young woman. So not only does he have to find the stolen paintings of this count dude, he also has to figure out how can he figure out who the killer is, who killed this woman. So it's sort of a double mystery, or maybe this double mystery might be all one big mystery wrapped up into one. Kyle MacLachlan also stars in this movie. Our buddy from Dune, I think Eric Holmes, before we started recording the show, he was mentioning Dune by David Lynch in a certain reference. But yeah, Kyle MacLachlan, he plays an art dealer as well in this movie. Again, Marcia Gay Harden's in this. Really interesting. Let's just say this movie is more of a comedy. It's a breezy affair directed by Greg Mottola from Adventureland and Superbad. For me, it was an enjoyable experience. I love deadpan, dry wit humor. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this movie worked for both of you guys. First, let me start off with you, Bruce Perky. When I say breezy, one might say low stakes. Did its breeziness and lightweight nature turn you off?
No, not necessarily. When that's kind of what Fletch is. I mean, that's the whole idea of Fletch is it's just kind of light mystery, like you said, quippy, lots of characters, and who's doing what to whom, and it's all kind of a convoluted affair. When I watched this, I honestly felt most people aren't probably old enough to remember, except for maybe Greg, but they used to have this Sunday mystery movie in the early 70s, and it
I
was
do
like
remember that. Yeah.
Columbo and McLeod. They had all these different characters. They'd have like a 90-minute TV movie, and it was always something like this. This feels like that. This doesn't feel like a movie. This feels like an episode of the Fletch TV series to me, which
Right.
isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world.
Wait, but what if it's intended to be like you just that reference?
Sure, that's fine. That's great. I mean, that
Yeah.
works. It's like a snack that you don't remember much after the fact, but it tasted okay while you were eating it. It wasn't terrible, but maybe it wasn't like that awesome, full, lush piece of cake. This is more like an eclair with maybe no filling. So,
I love eclairs. Gotcha.
but I mean, for me, it didn't really move the needle much. One of the problems for me, I think this will work much better for people who haven't seen a lot of the actual Fletch movies. The whole time, I felt like, oh, this is Jon Hamm doing a Chevy Chase. And I kept thinking like, well, it's not quite Chevy Chase, but it's kind of Chevy Chase. So I think your mileage will vary based on how much you enjoy that performance and that style. I'm kind of right in the mediocre camp on this one. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. I'm not mad if it's on the screen in front of me, but I'm not going anywhere special to see it happen.
Eric Holmes, Confess Fletch.
I gotta confess, I like this one. Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it when we got the screener, and I was like, "They're doing a Fletch movie." When I got done with the movie, I looked up Wikipedia, and the author that wrote the Fletch books, Confess Fletch, is one of them. The one that Kevin Smith was going to do was Fletch Lives, and I don't believe Fletch Lives was one of the books, but Confess Fletch is. I haven't read the book. I don't know. But I like Jon Hamm in this. I've actually been kind of jonesing for a good comedy. And this is a quippy detective comedy. And so that scratched an itch, because like a lot of the movies that we cover on here are either like really bleak or horror related. We get movies that are kind of funny, but we don't really get like a straight comedy, which I think this kind of isn't really either, but it kind of leans more on that. And actually, by the time I was done with it, I was like, I want to go watch the other Fletch movies now. Because I remember watching them back in the day, and I just haven't seen them in decades at this point. This was really fun. I kind of liked it. The end, by the time we got to the end, I was kind of okay. We can wrap this up. Yeah,
That was a cute ending, don't you think?
No, I'm talking about like as
Oh.
the movie's ending. I'm like, come on.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
The timer went up like 5 minutes ago. Let's start rolling credits. Actually, the fact that Kevin Smith was supposed to do Fletch Lives feels like probably one of the better Kevin Smith movies, even though it's not a Kevin Smith movie. I take that back. This is a little closer to Aaron Sorkin, just because of the dialogue back and forth. The quippy dialogue is
Yeah, the
really
banter.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I said about Kevin Smith, disregard that. A little closer to Aaron Sorkin, but Aaron Sorkin, when he's being a little cheeky, is kind of what this movie is. And if you're not into that, then you're gonna watch Confess Fletch and you're gonna be like, this movie's fucking bullshit. But if you're in a certain mood, you're like, I want to watch Jon Hamm be charming and funny and silly and a bunch of people. Who was the detective, the female detective?
Aiden Meyer, right? Yeah, she's very good as Grizz. She's good.
Fletch kept fucking with her the entire time. Like that. Yeah, she played a good
Foil.
not heel.
Yeah.
Not even foil, like a heel, or like kind of, she was kind of the butt of she's the upcoming, I'm gonna be a detective, and then Fletch just keeps just going right over her head and just fucking with her.
Taking the piss.
But not in like a mean, like this movie's not like mean at all. This movie's just completely lighthearted. Yeah, it's kind of fun to watch. I'd say if you had just got done watching God's Country or Speak No Evil, Confess Fletch will be a tall glass of cool water for you.
Look, I'm going to say this. It's, again, you're right, Eric. It's based upon the book by Gregory MacDonald. Confess Fletch, here's the thing. Bruce is accurate. It totally feels like a TV movie. It feels like a TV movie, and there's nothing really. This is not John Ford's The Searchers. This is not Citizen Kane. This is a very light romp, and if you like that deadpan, dry wit, Eric has seen God's Country twice. I believe Confess Fletch, if you like that type of humor, this is a rewatchable film for me. I will go back and watch it for the quips. I think for the added value of the rewatchability factor, this feels like a 3.5 star film for me, but ultimately, I just like this genre. I like Jon Hamm as Fletch. I liked all of the other characters doing their one-liners, and a lot of the jokes are just really out there and throwaway jokes, and the banter is really cool. But again, like Eric said, there's going to be some people who are going to watch this movie and say, oh, geez, I am wasting my time. I feel sorry for those people. Just be warned. But there is a select group who will really enjoy Confess Fletch. I am one of those people. I'm giving Confess Fletch 4 stars in theaters, on digital, and on demand September 16th. Bruce Perky, your rating.
For me, it's like 2.5, but your mom or your dad will love it.
Your mom or your dad will love it. Eric Holmes, your rating on Confess Fletch.
Well, you can call me daddy, because I too am giving it 4 stars.
Always call you daddy, Eric.
This is a movie that understood the assignment, I think.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what it needs to be, and it does it well. So good job, Confess Fletch. You couldn't ask for a better Fletch sequel 30 or 40 years after the last one, or however long it was.